Okay, today we're looking at the AddALoop for projects. So to do this, you don't need to retype projects. You already have Fahrenheit, choices, if, and switch completed. You're not retyping them. You can open up those programs. My suggestion is to just copy the code, open a new program, label it Fahrenheit loop, paste your Fahrenheit code in there, and then make the adjustments to it. You do not want to delete the old file. You do not want to overwrite the old file. So, you could also do a save as, but that can get a little hairy with this. So I would probably just, to be safe, I would copy, open a new one, label it Fahrenheit loop, name it choices loop, and paste those codes in there, and then make the adjustments. So if we look, Fahrenheit loop says after the user has input their first temperature and the program has converted it, prompt the user asking whether or not they want to convert another temperature. So you're going to need a cout statement saying, do you want to convert another temperature? And then a cin so that the person can, choose yes or no. There's going to be a loop that you put in there. So as long as they are choosing yes, it will rerun the program and then ask them again. Do you want to input another temperature to convert? As long as they are answering yes, that will continue to loop. It'll continue to cycle and play the program. The first time the user chooses no, then it should have a goodbye message to the screen and the program should end. So we'll talk about loops and how we're going to do that. In the last program that you submitted, you used for loops. I do not want you using any for loops in these 4 programs. So no for loops. We're going to be using do while loops. So in choices, the program should continue looping until the user chooses exit from the menu. And if says add a choice to the menu that gives the user the option to exit. So if you did not have an exit option on your if, then you need to add it. And then the program should continue to loop, cycle back to the menu and let the user pick a new one until the user chooses to exit. And then the same thing with switch. So there's a couple little adjustments to each one of these. However, what we need to do is go over the new part, which is the do while loops. So if we take a look, I brought up a different program. I brought up my loops galore from the last one, a little bit different. So if I want to have a loop, as long as they are choosing to keep running the program, it's called a do while loop. So after I initialized any variables, wherever I want the loop to begin, which I want this menu to show every time, then I'm going to start my do there, and I need to open brackets. Now you'll notice, oops, not capitalized, I'm sorry, do. So you'll notice when I bring up my brackets, it automatically brings up a closing one. Well, that closing one's at the wrong spot because everything that I want to be in the loop needs to be inside these brackets. So to make this easy, I'm just going to get rid of the closing one there, and I'm going to put it wherever I want the loop to end. So whatever I want included in the loop needs to be inside that closing bracket. So I have my cases end there. So I'm going to close my loop, and this is where the while goes. So the do starts before the opening bracket, while comes after the closing bracket. So I want to do this while things are happening. So I'm going to do while, and I'm going to have parentheses here. And then there's something that's going to go inside those parentheses. So we want to do this as long as something's happening. So if I come back up to this one, my menu has 5 being exit. As long as they're picking another menu option other than 5, I want the loop to happen. So do while this choice, so that's Z, so as long as they're choosing anything other than 5. Well, the way we're going to show that, instead of listing all the numbers, we're going to say as long as they're not picking 5. So that is my Z. Z is my variable there. So we want to do that loop while Z does not equal. The way we're going to show that is with an exclamation point, equal sign. That's how we say as long as it doesn't equal option 5, because that's our exit option. And then I need to end this line with the semicolon. So when I run this, I should be able to keep going through these menu items as long as I am not picking to exit. It should take me back to the original menu. So if I choose 1, it's going to run me through case 1 and bring me back to the main menu that I can choose another one. And I just did all of that with, no, I didn't. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I thought I just did all that without hitting record, but I did hit record. So back to this window. So now I get to pick another one. So maybe I want to hit option 3 now. It's going to run through option 3, bring me back to the main menu. Now I want to exit. I'm going to hit 5. So I am hitting 5. It should end my loop. Says goodbye. Press any key to continue. So that is the do while loop. Now Fahrenheit loop has an additional thing. It wants you to ask the user instead of adding this menu option. Okay, so they don't want a menu option here. They would rather that you ask the user, do you want to continue or do you want to exit? So I can do that. Still want to have my do at the beginning of whatever I want looping, my while at the end. Okay, but I want to put a statement in here. Excuse me, hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that, I got interrupted. So I need to add a question for the Fahrenheit loop one. I need to add a question asking the user if they want to repeat or if they want to exit. So you figure out how you want to phrase that question. But you're going to need to declare another variable up here because they're going to have to answer somehow. So I'm going to call that A. And then I'm going to come down here, and if I'm going to ask them something, then I'm going to ask them that after my switch is closed, I'm going to put a cout statement in here. So cout, would you like to exit? If you're asking them, would you like to repeat or would you like to enter another number or pick another option? Make sure that you're paying attention to their yes, no answer and what that means for you, when you want them to be repeating and looping and when you don't. So I'm asking, would you like to exit? And I want them to type a 1 for yes or a 2 for no. Yeah, I want to put a space in there. So 1 yes, 2 no. And maybe I don't want to make these uppercase because they might think they're typing the words. Okay, so and L. And then I want to see in the variable that I declared, which was A, so that they can answer. And I want that to happen, and I changed my Z already to an A before I went up and declared that. So whenever, as long as they are not answering yes, as long as they are not picking 1 that they want to exit, I want this to loop through. When they finally pick 2, no, I lied. Hold on. As long as they are picking 2, know that they don't want to exit, it's going to loop. As soon as they pick yes that they want to exit, which is my 1, then it's going to stop the program and they can exit. So again, be careful with that because I did it the opposite way that it's asking you to do in Fahrenheit loop. In Fahrenheit loop, it doesn't want you to ask them to exit. It wants you to ask them if they want to keep going. So these will be reversed. That should give you everything new that you need to know for all 4 AddALoop projects.